So here we are, post-holiday season, a time where we were challenged with navigating through the societal expectations of social engagements and consumerism and family dynamics, as well as with our own working with the energies of the darkest nights of the year. The natural world shows us it was a time for introspection, just like the trees bringing their life force from leaf and fruit production down into itself and into the earth. We can see that the bears have left their riverbanks and moved into the great sleep, and the bees are all tucked into their hives. And these cold, long, dark nights and even bring the snow-loving people inside a bit more. And humans are not super efficient night seers. We can't see very well in the dark. And this often mirrors our own winter living experience of not having clear vision of what to do next, or feeling unsettled and irritated or stuck, particularly if we haven't been able to cultivate our time for resting and dreaming and shadow work and simply being in that void and the darkness. So depending on how well we're able to follow nature's lead, has a correlation to how well or not we experience whatever winter brings us, whatever this dark work brings us. And so we're just moving out of that. And let's see, where did I go out of this? Now, so some of us may still be craving just a bit more of that winter's medicine, and we talked about that last night. Some of us feeling a little bit more wintry, and some of us feeling a little bit more like we can feel spring coming. And even though nature is still showing us winter is definitely here, typically the cold really sets in and storms pick up. But even still, since solstice, the days have gotten a little longer each day. And this return of the life force and vitality from the sun is a powerful energy to tap into. There's very, very little life on the planet that does not rely on the sun. And we are certainly no exception to that. And this month is full and clear of Mercury retrograde that we were having last month. So there's another natural forward movement, and outward expression is a little bit better supported. And we also have 2 full moons this month. And as we know, a full moon brings the energy of completion and fullness and manifestation and additional light, illumination. And the first full moon was on New Year's Day, adding extra force to any intentions or resolutions and divination done at that time. And the second full moon is bookending all of our January work on the last day of the month. And both of these full moons are super moons, which means they are closer to the earth. They appear larger and brighter in the sky. They also have a greater gravitational pull. So this first full moon brought us king tides. You might have seen that in the news, right? Or hopefully gone and seen them in actual life. And so this happens when like the moon and the earth and the sun, they're all aligned in a way that adds additional gravitational pull. And this second super full moon that we have at the end of the month is also going to be an eclipse. So this intensifies this full moon effect, this completion and manifesting and this illuminating force even more. So we, I think we got a doozy coming up. So it's like, it's at its most maximum, the moon is at its most maximum power, I guess, that we, the only thing I can think of that would intensify it more would be if it landed on like a solstice or something, you know what I mean? We've got, we've got a lot of energy that we can tap into there. So, and I really, really like to keep in mind too, it's pretty easy to talk about, oh, the moon is doing this and Mercury's doing that, and think, oh, it's a little bit sort of woo-woo, or a little, it's easy to sort of forget just how physically the moon affects us, right? So thinking about the tides being pulled in and out twice a day, by the force of the moon, and thinking about how before artificial lighting and hormonal birth control, all the women would bleed in synchronicity with the moon. A lot of people don't sleep very well during full moons. Behavior gets erratic, especially to anybody who works in the public sector or paramedics or police, this kind of thing. They all know, oh, full moon time, right? I grew up with a movie theater as our family business, and definitely the crowds, were much more wild at a full moon time. And so, it just really is nice to sort of remind ourselves just how much of a physical effect the moon has. And so to then hear of, okay, super moon, it's closer. Okay, now it's being eclipsed at the same time, and just really letting that sort of soak in a little bit, it's powerful stuff. And most of us are just kind of rumbling along through life and not realizing that this is even happening. But we get to work with it, right? Because we're aware of it, and we're going to tap into some of this really strong growth potential, really strong manifestation, completion potential. Let's see, what else am I going to say? And truly, the first signs of spring, as we were talking about, are right around the corner, even though it's still cold and snowy out. February 1st, Imbolc, like we were talking just last night, the first of the Celtic and pagan spring celebrations. And, spring has all of its, when we're fully into spring, it has all of this newness, all of this birth, animal births, the shoots start coming up out of the ground. There's a fresh newness, there's more clarity of sight and thought. And so if we're sort of sensitively feeling that out, we can feel that it's coming next. And so all of this is to say that we have a lot of natural energy supporting us right now, that we can tap into to support our intentions, extra force to any dreams we want to become manifest, and a super amount of growth energy to any of the seeds that we'll be planting.